Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in another video day. And today we're going to be talking about the Detroit Pistons potentially trading for Tim Hardaway Jr. As it's been reported that the Detroit Pistons and the Dallas Mavericks have been discussing a potential trade for Tim Hardaway Jr. to land him with the Detroit Pistons. No other details have been released about this potential trade, about what Dallas could be getting in return, or what they're potentially asking for Tim Hardaway Jr., who had one of his worst seasons in the last couple years. But, Tim Hardaway Jr. would be a solid addition for the Detroit Pistons. This past season, he played 79 games with 12 starts, averaged 27 minutes per game, shooting 40% from the floor and 35% from three, which was over 3% worse than the season before, when he shot 38.5% from three the year before that. He averaged 14.4 points per game and finished ninth place in Sixth Man of the Year award. And so not only did he do that, but he also averaged 2 assists per game and 3.2 rebounds per game. His free throw percentage was 85%. That really recaps his season. 2022-23 season, he averaged 14.5 points per game with 4 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 1 steal per game, and from three shot almost 39%. Field goal percentage was 40%. His best season last couple years with Dallas would be with the Dallas Mavericks 2020-21 season, 17 points per game, finished 5th in Sixth Man of the Year voting. And funny enough, as right now, as I am talking about, the Dallas Mavericks and the Detroit Pistons potentially making a trade, it has been reported by Adrian Wojnarowski that the Detroit Pistons are hiring Dallas Mavericks executive Dennis Lindsey as their senior VP of basketball operations. Me hearing this news, I can't help but wonder if this hire could potentially lead to Dallas and Detroit making a deal. We'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a very good scorer off the bench, good shooter, and someone who, will bring in a lot of scoring. And I think he'll really help this Detroit team if you'll see a trade happen. I think this would be, if this deal happens, I think this would be a deal that would happen before the draft. I think this is a draft day trade that would happen sometime before the NBA draft starts tomorrow. But if this trade happens, I think he'd be a great addition for Detroit. But what does Dallas get back? Because Hardaway Jr., because of his contract, his trade value isn't great. But looking at Detroit's roster, there's not a lot I believe they can give Dallas that they'd be interested in right now, because Dallas is trying to improve their roster. By using their trade assets that they want to get rid of, guys like, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dwight Powell and some of the other couple players they have on their roster currently that they're looking to potentially move this offseason to improve their roster. Somebody I immediately thought about that maybe could help them improve their roster, which, might not seem, to me, it doesn't seem right, because they already have a lot of size and, a couple big men. So you already have Gafford, you already have Lively, you already have PJ Washington. But the only player I could really think of that improve their roster would potentially be Isaiah Stewart, who's a good three-point shooter, good scorer, a good rebounder. Isaiah Stewart would be a solid addition. He's more of a power forward than he is a center. So, he wouldn't, it wouldn't be a third center, because obviously you have Lively and you have Daniel Gafford. So, he wouldn't be a third center. Yes, he can play the center position, but he is a center power forward. He's 6'8", 250 pounds. He had one of his best seasons this past season, 46 games in 31 minutes per game, averaged 11 points per game with 6.6 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 1 block per game, and from three, he shot 38%, his best three-point shooting season in his 4 seasons in the NBA. So he would be a solid addition for Dallas. I believe so. But obviously, if he's not a center, of course you also have PJ Washington in there. If you let Derrick Jones Jr. walk this free agency, potentially if you did this trade and you brought in Isaiah Stewart, I think it would probably cost Dallas. I would say it'd probably be a package of Dwight Powell with Tim Hardaway Jr. and pick 60 for Isaiah Stewart is what I'm guessing. Isaiah Stewart comes into Dallas. I'm guessing Derrick Jones Jr. also leaves the Mavericks in free agency if this trade happens, and then Dallas would potentially, if they make no other moves, Dallas would potentially have a starting lineup of Luka, Kyrie, PJ Washington, Isaiah Stewart, one of Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford, probably Daniel Gafford starting, and then Derek Lively off the bench, Jaden Hardy off the bench. So, look, I think Isaiah Stewart is really one of the only things that Dallas would potentially be interested in on Detroit's roster. I think Stewart is really the only guy, unless maybe Dallas just lets go Hardaway Jr. for a couple of draft picks, which I don't know. Right now, I see them wanting to improve their roster when getting rid of guys like Dwight Powell, and Tim Hardaway Jr. Let me know your thoughts on the potential trade in the comment section, and peace out.